Well, there is a lot of news and so very little time. Independent journalist Jackson Gosnell is with us via Skype, attempting to unpack the major stories from today and the past week. Jackson, welcome to the show. I'm going to jump right to it. The most obscure story. It's of Carlee Russell. There's a lot of questions revolving around the 25-year-old Alabama woman's reported abduction. So originally, Jackson, when we saw the news broke, Russell had disappeared for 48 hours. And then she turned back home. She called 911, telling police she saw a toddler in a diaper walking along a busy highway. I guess she got off the phone. Then she claimed she was kidnapped. There's a lot going on. It turns out today she lied. Please get us up to speed.
Well, it's great to be with you. Yeah, Carlee Russell made all of this up. It's actually a wild and bizarre story. As you mentioned, she called 911 just a few days ago, and that was because she said she saw a toddler walking along the side of the interstate by themselves in a diaper. She then got off the phone with 911 and she talked to her family members who were on the phone with her when they heard her scream. The line remained open, and as authorities arrived, they found her Mercedes-Benz still parked and running on the side of the interstate there in Alabama. The story really captured people's attention from all over the country just because of the nature of it. It was so bizarre, and everybody was hoping she would come home safe. When police arrived, they found her wig on the ground along with her cell phone and no trace of Carlee Russell. So 49 hours later, she knocks at the door of her home to her parents' surprise, of course. They say she wasn't in a good state, though. They told the Today Show that they had to kind of step back and let medical professionals deal with her. All these questions now are looming, though. Where was she for those 49 hours? What was she doing? Who was she with? Well, today we finally got some answers from the police chief, who tells us Carlee made all of this up. A statement from her attorney revealed those details. I believe we have some sound of that. I want to go to that now. Take a listen.
There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel with anyone during the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to this community.
Oh, Jackson, okay, so we just heard that from officials there. Why do you think she lied, though?
You know, a lot of people are really speculating as to maybe it had to deal with a relationship that recently ended. That's internet talk. We don't know for sure at this point. Those are just rumors and speculation. But this story has been so popular. A lot of people now calling for her to be criminally charged for making all of this up. I posted some TikTok videos about this and some other social media videos, and everybody in the comments really trying to dissect why this happened. And everybody's calling for her to be prosecuted for the most part. They think that this was totally ridiculous, and it was. I mean, all the resources, the federal and state agencies that pitched in to try and work and bring her home, all of those resources were used for nothing, essentially, because she made all of this up. So right. Many calls for her to be prosecuted.
Yeah, many calls, except coming from her boyfriend. He spoke out earlier today saying, everyone stop bullying Carlee. She's going through a mental crisis. Well, that may be true, but you just cannot lie to police. So there's that. We're going to move on now. The White House receiving a lot of flack. Why? Because the Secret Service decided to close its cocaine investigation. This is a weird one, Jackson. They apparently didn't have enough evidence to single out a person of interest. So I'm just going to update our viewers or give them a quick refresher here. Earlier this month, Secret Service spotted cocaine inside a, quote, receptacle used to temporarily store electronic and personal devices prior to entering the West Wing. So they did this methodical investigation and found nothing?
That's what officials tell us. You know, it's a really wild story, just as the first one was. So this cocaine was found inside the White House. We're talking one of the most secure buildings on earth with security capabilities that you and I could only dream of. I've been to the White House a few times. They don't just let anybody stroll up into the White House. And for them, this was a pretty big deal, or at least it should have been. But the Secret Service closing the investigation, saying they can't find any physical evidence that would would allow them to continue this investigation. And honestly, it's really embarrassing on behalf of the Secret Service. I mean, this is the most powerful law enforcement agency in the world. They dot all, they dot everything. They make sure that everybody has what they need to. There's all sorts of security measures. I mean, even when I went, I had to provide my information weeks in advance, even going through the press office. They want your social security number, your driver's license, your date of birth. So there's enormous security measures. There's got to be a list of people. A lot of people believe the Secret Service know who did this. I was filling in on my colleague Wyatt Sharp's show just a few days ago where I interviewed a former Secret Service agent. We talked to him about why he thinks this is happening and what it looks like for the Secret Service. I want you to take a look at that video there.
But let's be honest, the messaging that's coming out of this administration right now with respect to this and other issues is really not coming across very well. It allows for continued speculation in a lot of different areas.
Huh. Wow. Jackson, the public, in the court of public opinion at least, there's a lot of distrust with our ABC agencies, with the administration. Biden is currently down a lot. His disapproval percentage is actually outweighing his approval ratings. 54% disapprove of the job he's doing. That number could potentially go up until next year. But this certainly did not help Biden's case or his administration.
It certainly didn't, and the optics of this are just not good. I mean, you would think the administration would have a more aggressive approach to get to the bottom of this. It seems that's not the case, and they really don't care about this. But everyday Americans are concerned about this. It makes them question who's in charge at the White House, what exactly is happening. Lots of fishy business, it seems like, and that could head into the upcoming election. And so the upcoming election, obviously, we have two Democratic challengers to President Biden, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Marianne Williamson. She's a very successful author, and she is actually going to be making a stop on the campaign trail here tomorrow in South Carolina, where I'm based. I'll be sitting down with her, asking her questions. I find it really interesting. Marianne Williamson was recently asked by ABC News if she would endorse President Biden if he were to become the Democratic nominee. Her answer was a little surprising. Take a look.
Will you endorse him if he wins the nomination?
I will certainly endorse the candidate who I feel can beat the Republicans, absolutely.
So, but if he's the Democratic nominee, will you endorse him?
I will do whatever I feel I can do as an American to make sure that the neo-fascist threat that is represented by some aspects of the Republican Party does not win in 2024.
Yeah, Jackson, obviously apprehensive to say if she's going to jump on board with Team Biden. She's not the only one. I think there's a lot of other people in her party very outspoken about them not supporting Biden as the 24 nominee. There's a lot of other contenders. I think they're going to throw their support behind someone a little bit more progressive than Biden. But let's go to the GOP field for a minute. It is a very crowded field there. Trump obviously leading everybody. That was expected. He's currently leading in two primary states, but what's going to go on with the other side? We just mentioned Cocaine Gate and Biden's performance. Do you think Biden is worried at all about all of this, or no?
I think he certainly should be. This is not looking too good for him. The president is unable to complete sentences in many cases. We've seen him fall down numerous times, and that's not disrespecting the president. It's just clearly fact. It's observation. And I think a lot of Americans are really worried about the state of this president. They wonder if he is mentally fit to serve, the presidency role. And so I think that's why you're seeing Democrats jump into the presidential race. You see so many Republicans. They're just trying to counter and really fight back against this administration, which they claim, and everyone claims, that the economy is terrible. It's making everyday life hard for a lot of Americans.
Lastly, there is word that President Trump may skip out on the first presidential debate. Now, why in the world would he do this? What are your predictions?
Well, former President Trump has been the front runner. He's been known as that. I don't know that he would really need to step out into a debate. I don't know that that's going to change his voters' minds. Look, he was the president for 4 years. Everyone knows what they get with Trump. This is not his first rodeo, so to speak. So where other candidates, you don't really know what to expect. With Trump, it's there. You know exactly what you're going to get. And I think that may be why he would hold out on this. I really don't think he sees the other candidates as a threat. At least at this point, it doesn't appear that way.
No, and I guess it doesn't really matter because he's leading everybody by like a staunching 44 percentage points. Jackson Gosnell, all the time we have. Thanks so much for going through all these top stories with me and our viewers. I hope to see you soon.
Great to see you. Thanks.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OANN Live. OANN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OANN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OANN Live and stay informed.